Okay, so in the next part we are going to move to defining what is knowledge management. Till late we have been talking about what is knowledge, different kind of knowledge, how to converse knowledge and these kind of things. Now, what we are going to do is to move from knowledge to knowledge management. Okay. So, what is knowledge management? Knowledge management is also a process through which we are able to capture and use the knowledge that is required by the business. Okay. So, that is basically helps you to become more efficient, not just effective. Now, if you look at the second part which says doing the right things, doing the right things means then you are going to be more efficient than doing the right things right, that is you are going to be effective. So, that is where the knowledge management makes a difference. So, you are going to be more innovative, more efficient, more productive, and that is what I mean by doing the right things. Now, in this case we have to see that what are the different processes that the company adopts and whether we can treat them as a knowledge process or not, because through each process you are going to generate something that is new, which is going to help you to be effective. So, here we are treating each processes or each business process which company follows is as a knowledge process, and in this context any business process related to any function can be treated as a knowledge process. Say for example, how we are going to recruit people. So, there is a recruitment process. Now, if you look at this recruitment process, whether this recruitment process is going to help you to recruit quality talented people or not, okay, and whether you are going to make certain changes in the process to make it more efficient. So, once you go through this process, you also come to know that how it can be made more efficient, so that you get better quality people. Now, this becomes a knowledge process, that how we are going to recruit more efficient people in the organization, and in the process you can also go about changing the recruitment process, okay, using your knowledge and experience as a base. Now, if you look at knowledge management system, it includes certain parts like creation, dissemination, upgrading and using that knowledge for growth and development of the organization. Now, the first part is knowledge creation, that is where you create new knowledge. Disseminate, where you pass on the information to those who require. Upgrading of knowledge means that you are going to continuously update the knowledge base or the database or the knowledge system that you have with you, because the nature of knowledge itself is very dynamic, and the nature of knowledge keep on changing over a period of time. New knowledge comes in every domain, every function, every area. So, what you need to do is keep on upgrading the knowledge system, so that you become relevant, or your knowledge systems or knowledge management systems become more relevant. And then the most important thing is that using that knowledge for the growth and development of the organization. If you are not going to apply whatever knowledge is there in your archive, in your system for the growth and development of the organization, then there is no point creating a knowledge management system to the organizations, and that is why knowledge management system is very important. Now, if you look at the last point, it says the part science. Part science means that it is based on the knowledge and skill, both. So, knowledge is the science part, a skill is that how we are going to make use of it, and part luck. The effectiveness or the performance of the knowledge management system sometimes also depends upon the chance, because the nature, the environment keep on changing. Even if you have a knowledge management system, it may not work tomorrow. So, you have to see that how good and efficient knowledge and evolving and dynamic knowledge management system that you have created based upon your knowledge, your experience and the applications, and if that is so, then you are going to be more lucky, otherwise not. So, when I am saying part luck means, yes, partly it also depends upon your luck. If the nature or the environment changes, then whatever knowledge that you have created may not be very useful. Now, I am trying to define knowledge management based on our earlier discussions. Now, if you look at it, it says that it is managing the organization's knowledge, both explicit and tacit. We have already discussed about what is explicit knowledge and what is tacit knowledge. So, organizational knowledge does not only include explicit knowledge, but also tacit knowledge. Okay. Through the process, so you are going to create a system, creating, structuring, disseminating and applying knowledge to enhance organizational performance and create value. Now, if you look at the second part, it says or it talks about the knowledge management system. So, you need to have a knowledge management system in place to create knowledge, to structure knowledge, that is to archive that knowledge in a particular system. Disseminate, you also need to see that what is the retrieval process and what is the process of using that knowledge to enhance performance of the organization. Because if you are not able to apply that knowledge, or you are not able to retrieve that information from the archive, you cannot use it. So, each part, all the 4 parts or the processes are very, very important. So, there are 4 different parts of the knowledge management, that is knowledge creation process, how the knowledge is created in the organization. See, most of the organizations have huge knowledge base, databases, but they are not aware that they have these knowledge bases. So, you need to tell them, okay, these are the knowledges that the organization has. Then structure, that is where IT systems help you to archive the knowledge or the databases, okay, into a system using technology, so that you are able to store that knowledge in a structured form. When I am talking about a structure of knowledge, you have to see that how the knowledge is organized, codified and classified in a particular form, so that retrieval is easy. So, this is related to what you call structuring. Now, the third part is dissemination. Dissemination is basically related to the retrieval process. What is the process of getting back the information from the structured part, that is from the archive. So, there has to be a technology enabled system through which you are able to retrieve relevant and contextual information which you can make use of. And the fourth part is applying knowledge, and that is where you are going to make use of knowledge to create better performance, to be more efficient and productive, and that is how you are going to create value to the organization. See, ultimately why you need a knowledge management system in the organization? The idea is that you are going to use this knowledge management system to create value in terms of increasing growth, development, market value, whatever it is. So, if you are able to create value, it means that you are going to increase the bottom line, the performance and effectiveness of the organization. Then only it is good, or you are going to have an efficient knowledge management system. Okay. Now, another thing that is required for having a good knowledge management system is a transformation in the culture. Okay. So, what kind of culture you require in the organization? There are 2 kind of things that you require, that you need to create knowledge sharing culture. Knowledge sharing culture means where people share their knowledge with each other, and that is how this tacit knowledge goes to other form, other people as a tacit knowledge or into explicit form, and that is where you are able to transform tacit into explicit form. Now, the question is that how are going to create a knowledge sharing culture in the organization? The knowledge sharing culture can be created in the organization through relationships, through dialogue, following the best practices, interactions, relationships with teams working effectively. So, these are the different processes that could be used by the organization, and you need to create a culture, so that people are ready to share their knowledge. Another important issue is that when I am talking about organizational culture, so what kind of culture is required? You need a culture where people are ready to share their knowledge with each other. It means that you need to create a climate in the organization where the perception of risk and threat is minimized. One. Second is that you also need to create a culture where people are more creative and innovative. It means you need to create a culture that is more entrepreneurial and market oriented. In this context, what will happen? People will come forward, and for that you also need to link this with the reward system. Okay. So, collaboration and reward system is very, very important for people to come forward and share their knowledge. If you have a collaborative systems, you have a dialogue, you have relationships through which people will share knowledge, and what is required for this is trust. So, you need to develop exercises, or you need to build up teams, cohesive teams. You need to also look into group dynamic factors, so that people work with each other, are willingly ready to share their knowledge with each other. Otherwise, what will happen? You will not be able to transform the culture in the organization, and people will not share their knowledge. Another important thing, structure. Apart from organizational culture, you also need to create a culture. sorry, structure. What I mean by structure is the structure of the organization. Structure basically talks about the reporting relationship. So, you need to create a structure where there is a more integration and coordination across levels in the hierarchy. Okay. So, if and you have to see that this structure facilitates effective performance, because if you have created a structure which creates barriers and roadblocks, then you cannot expect people to come forward. Okay. So, you need to develop a structure which is less rigid, less formal, where people are empowered, okay, and people are ready to solve problems, where learning takes place, learning is facilitated, okay, and where people are going to take decision either individually or collectively in a group, so that it is going to help you to create knowledge, not only create knowledge, but other forms of knowledge. So, the structure is the enabler, that is, you have to develop a structure where people are more empowered, decision making is decentralized, okay, narrow span of control is very less, you have a more informal system compared to a more formal rigid system. So, you need to develop an organic structure compared to a mechanistic structure, and that helps in certain things which are basically facilitators for the knowledge management. And the most important thing is leveraging value through intellectual capital. Okay. Now, when I am talking about intellectual capital, which is nothing else but consists of different kind of capital, which is there with the people, relationship and structure of the organization. So, you have to see that how we are going to make use of these intellectual capital, including human capital, through reuse. It means that you need to regularly use these capital in order to grow and develop. Okay. And that is where this intellectual capital has also important role to facilitate knowledge management system. So, next thing that I am going to talk about, where knowledge management system lies, okay, and how it is related to different kind of things. Now, if you look at this graph, you can see it is related with different kind of things like business transformation, where you go for business process reengineering, total quality management, changing the culture, okay, and that is where it is related to knowledge management, innovation, okay, because knowledge management is what? Creating new things, products and processes, and that is where you are going to relate it with the innovation. Okay. Knowledge management I have already talked about is related with information management. So, there is a difference between information management and knowledge management. Information management means that you have databases which is organized, codified and classified in certain forms. So, this organized database, if it is used in a context and applied to perform job effectively, basically you are using knowledge or knowledge management systems, which is basically derived from the information management systems. Then you also develop knowledge based systems. What are these knowledge based systems? There could be teams, there could be organizations, there could be say other things in the organization systems and processes which create knowledge. So, they are basically knowledge based systems, because these knowledge based systems like R&D systems. So, R&D systems basically is purely a knowledge based system, because the job of R&D based systems is to create knowledge. Then knowledge management has also been related with intellectual capital or assets or capital, since knowledge resides with the people or the human, and that is why we related with the intellectual capital of the organization. Knowledge management is also related to learning organization. It means those companies which have been engaged in knowledge management activities, they continuously try to innovate and improve themselves to remain viable, grow and develop, right. And that is what learning organization means, because if we define learning organization, it says those organizations can be called learning organizations which continuously innovate and improve themselves. But it is not an end state. It means tomorrow, if today if you are a learning organization, not necessary that tomorrow you are going to be a learning organization. So, it is a cycle. It means that you need to continuously innovate and improve yourself to remain viable and create a position for yourself which cannot be undermined by others, and that is how you achieve competitive advantage also. So, a knowledge management system can help you to be more efficient, okay, in terms of innovation and other things, and that is where you try to become a learning organization on a continuous basis, not just at a particular stage. Okay. Now, many questions have been asked by the organizations that why we need to move to a knowledge management system. Why we require knowledge? Okay. Why companies should go and adopt knowledge management systems in organizations? The first point I am saying is knowledge has become the key resource for the organization, for the economic strength of a country or anything like that. It means knowledge is the only resource which is the most important resource for any organization, including a nation, because it has certain characteristics. See, the knowledge which resides with a company, an organization or a nation cannot be imitated, cannot be copied, okay. And that is where knowledge becomes the only source of competitive advantage for any organization or even a nation. So, it provides a strength to the organization as well as the country, and it cannot be compared with any other kind of resources in the organization. Okay. It is fundamentally different from other key resources of the organization or economies like labor, land and even capital. Why? Because if you look at these resources, what you call land, labor or even machines or even the money, what happens to these resources? The value of these resources depreciates over a period of time, but the value of knowledge increases over a period of time. Okay. So, and that is how it is different from other resources. Now, if a organization is based on knowledge, okay, then the performance of that organization is going to be much better than any other organization. Okay. And that is why Drucker says that the performance capacity, if not the survival of any organization in the knowledge society, will come increasingly to depend upon these two factors, that is knowledge and capital. Okay. So, what I mean to say is that if you look at these statements, it suggests that yes, if companies have knowledge management systems, they are going to be more efficient, they are going to survive, okay, in an unpredictable environment. Okay. Now, moving from this, so what are the factors which have been driving organizations to become knowledge management systems? Okay. See, many Indian organizations, including IT organizations, defense labs, R&D labs, okay, have tried to develop a knowledge management system, okay. Whether it is Infosys or whether it is IBM or whether it is ONGC or even defense labs, most of these technology driven organizations have gone for creating a knowledge management system. Now, the thing is that why these companies have moved to have a knowledge management system at the first place. Okay. Now, if you look at these four factors which have been discussed, which we will discuss now, is basically are the forces which have motivated or driven companies to move to create a knowledge management system in their organization. And these include increasing domain complexity. What does it mean, domain complexity? The domain, the environment in which most of the organizations work together has become more and more complex. Okay. Not only the internal domain, but also the external domain. Okay. Internal domain has changed in terms of systems, process and technology which companies have been adopting. Okay. External domains, the environment in which the companies have been operating, right. So, the internal and external environment have been changing constantly, okay, and this has created more complexity. When we say complexity, it means the frequency at which these factors are changing are much more. At the same time, there are a lot of factors, environmental, internal, external environmental factors which are at work, and they are creating more and more complexity in the environment and also in the organization. And because of this, it has become important for organizations to have knowledge management system. Otherwise, what will happen? They will not be able to cope up with the challenges of the organizations. Okay. And knowledge is the only resource which can help them to compete, and that is why they want to create knowledge management systems, so that they can make use of it to survive and grow. Now, another important factor is related to the market, which is an external environmental factor. Okay. Market volatility. Market has become very volatile, okay, because of the changes that is happening in the market. Okay. Now, because of the markets are at risk and lot of changes have been happening in the market, it has created a situation where organizations are not able to understand what to do, how to cope with the changes, or how to perceive the risk that is associated with the market and act upon is very, very difficult. But if they have a knowledge base, it would help them, because they can have databases where they have documented proof of the how the company has dealt with market volatility in the past, and that kind of information can help them or get them some input that how to use that databases or that information to work in the current market context. I give you an example. See, if you look at the stock markets, the stock market value keep on changing. Okay. The latest example that I can give you, that after the elections, when President Trump has won, most of the Asian markets fell down. Now, this is a market volatility. Whenever any change that is happening in the political environment of the nations, it has a direct impact on the economy of that nation. Now, in face of a continuous change of flux in the stock market, how are going to create or stabilize things for your organization? So, if you know, if you have information both explicit form and tacit form, that is going to help you to see that how are going to cope up with the changes that is happening in the market. Next, responsiveness, speed of responsiveness. Okay. See, lot of changes is happening in the organization, and the way people are responding to the changes is very, very important. See, if you look at the product life cycle, I am just taking one example to explain what is happening to the product life cycle. It is getting shortened and shortened. Okay. So, if you are not going to respond to this kind of behavior of the product, what will happen? You will not be able to offer good products, innovative products which have better features to your customers. And then if your speed of responsiveness is low in offering new products to your customers or new services to your customers, you will lag behind, right. So, speed of responsiveness in not only in offering products, but in services, how fast you can provide better customer services, that is equally important. Okay. Not only selling the product, but also providing after sales services. So, there is speed of responsiveness. It is also not only related to speed, but also the quality of what is your response is there. So, all these factors basically is very, very important when I am talking about speed of responsiveness, whether it is offering products, new products, customer care services, quality of services. So, all these are important. If you are not able to compete with the help of these things, probably you will not be able to survive and grow. So, how knowledge management is going to help you? Because knowledge management system can help you to track how things are happening, what kind of changes are happening in the market, product and services, and accordingly you prepare yourself and see that how well you can compete. And the most important thing, that why companies have gone for having a knowledge management system is because in many companies, you know that there is a high employee turnover rate. Okay. People are leaving organizations, and when people leave the organizations, they also go with the knowledge that they have acquired over a period of time. Okay. What happens when people leave? They leave with the knowledge that they have, and then the company is not able to utilize the knowledge which is there with the people. So, what is the way out? Create a knowledge management system through which you are going to capture the knowledge that is there with the people. Okay. And this knowledge capture has to be in a very explicit form, so that it is available to others. Okay. So, if knowledge is captured, whether it is related to services, processes or products with which an individual is associated, okay, and it is available to others, then what will happen? Even if the people leave, the knowledge related to that individual is there with the organization, okay, and then organization can make use of that explicit knowledge for use. So, if suppose a new person joins, he will have all those systems, processes, okay, captured, and then he can make use of that to perform the job, right. So, it helps individual to do it even if people are leaving, and that basically diminishes the individual experience. It means, nowadays organizations are not going to give more priority to people, but their knowledge, and they are more interested to capture the process and the knowledge base of those people, so that that could be used even if people are leaving. Okay. Now, what are the benefits? there are a lot of benefits which organizations can get, okay, when it comes to adopting a knowledge management systems. Okay. See, they can easily retrieve information with the knowledge management archive. So, they do not have to look for information elsewhere, and then the information that they are getting from the knowledge management system can be used for decision making, problem solving, okay. And with the help of blogs and portals, people can work more effectively, and you can also share the best practices that you have followed, okay. And it also helps you to provide competitive advantage, because you can leverage the expertise which is available with other people, provided it is available in some form, okay. And knowledge also helps you to take better decisions, because you have most of the information that is required to take decisions, okay. And if you have adopted knowledge management systems, basically companies have been benefited a lot in terms of reducing cost, improving quality, increasing profits, and all kind of things have happened. And there are examples of various companies which have been able to save lot of money by adopting knowledge management systems, okay. And it also helps you to retain key talent and expertise, because once people come to know that they are going to be recognized for their knowledge and experience, they would stay back with the organization. The only thing that you need to do is that you need to tag it with reward systems, okay. So, if you tag it with the reward systems, make performance knowledge sharing as a part of the performance appraisal system. If people are sharing knowledge, you reward them probably, and recognize those who are sharing knowledge or those who are creating knowledge by promoting them, giving them better rewards, okay. And these kind of things, probably you would be able to retain talent and expertise, and that way you can also say that it would help you to manage your talent in a better way. And also these knowledge management systems helps you to serve your customers better way. I mean, I have already talked about it. There are two factors, okay. Customer services that you are going to have in, and retention in terms of commitment and loyalty that you can expect from customers by providing better services or quality services, and this customer satisfaction when you provide through better quality services, you will be able to make them loyal and committed to your organization. But how it happens? How you are going to provide better quality services? Using the best practices which the organization has followed for providing services, not only your organization, but other organizations also, provided you have knowledge about the kind of systems, practices or benchmarks that is followed by other organizations, and that is where you will be able to retain your customers well. Now, look at the knowledge organization. Okay. If you look at the central part of this, which shows this part, it talks about the knowledge organization. So, what is a knowledge organization? A knowledge organization is one which has a knowledge management system, right, which is active, which is creative, not passive, but using technology to facilitate knowledge sharing and innovation. So, that kind of organization is called knowledge organization. Now, if in the middle you will find it talks about, the middle layer talks about the KM life cycle. Now, when I am talking about the knowledge management life cycle, or what you call the processes, it includes certain process starting with creating, that is creation of new knowledge, collecting that knowledge, storage, and then organize it in a codified and classified form, then refining for the use, disseminate it, passing it on to other people who can make use of it, and maintaining that databases. Now, what are the drivers of the knowledge management system? We have already talked about various drivers related to culture, competition, leadership and technology. So, these are the drivers, okay. And these knowledge organization drives knowledge from customers, products, okay, and other things, and that is how you create knowledge organization. So, what you need? Drivers, a system, so that you are able to create a knowledge organization for yourself. And this is the knowledge management cycle I have been talking about: create, capture, refine, store, manage, disseminate, that is knowledge. So, start with this knowledge creation by doing new things, identify and capture knowledge, place knowledge into a context so that you are able to make use of it, otherwise it is not good. Then you have a repository database systems where you are going to store the knowledge, and then you are going to manage it, you are going to see that whether it is correct or not, and then you make it available to others, so that they can make use of it, and that is how the knowledge management system works. Thank you.